Welcome, welcome, welcome. Boker Tov. Boker Tov to everyone. Early in the morning. Made sure you push the clock forward. And we are at 7:12 a.m. in the new time zone. I want to welcome you to live on the Ways of Israel. We are going to continue our series of Sefer Haikkarim. We're in book number 2, where we left off in chapter 5 going to chapter 6. So this morning we're going to cover very briefly chapter 6 of Sefer Haikkarim. Please invite other people to join in. All of these videos that we're doing via Facebook is also being uploaded to our YouTube page of Ways of Israel. So I invite you to be part of Ways of Israel, and that way you too can enjoy a lot of the videos that we have there, including the series of Sefer Haikkarim. There's some other topics that we're going to be bringing, because we realize that as the days go by, the religious faith is being weakened one day at a time, and people are having less faith, as it were, in God and in the whole system as an entirety, as we're facing a big crisis in this country, in the world at large, where everything that has value is being cut asunder, brought down, and obviously it's contrary to the fundamentals of the Jewish faith, in essence, putting doubt where doubt should not be placed. So before I get started, I'm just going to say the blessing over the coffee. That way you can enjoy early morning learning and davening, if you haven't done so as of yet. So join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihiyah bidvaro. Wow, I make a great coffee. So we are starting this morning with Sefer Haikkarim, the fundamentals or the basics of Judaism according to Rabbi Joseph Albo. George Albo is the gentleman that we're doing this in memory of, who happened to be a descendant of the Albo family of Spain. Of course, he came out from Cuba. There are many Cuban Jews of this type of surnames, and surnames very known throughout Spanish Jewry. So this is being done in the merit of that he has his soul lifted up there in Gan Eden, and this way we give him sechut for his life and service in the Jewish community. He was a mashgiach there with the ORB, Kosher Miami. Those of you who remember him, a very, very unique character, as it were. Made everybody laugh, no doubt about it. Well, chapter 6 of book 2 of Sefer Haikkarim. Everyone professing a religion who believes in the principles or principle of the existence of God, as we have just proved it, must believe that there is in the world a being, a necessary existence through himself, having no cause nor any one similar to him. He is the cause of all existing things, whose continuity of existence is dependent upon him, but his existence is not dependent upon them or upon anyone else. This is God. This statement gives a formal and conceptual understanding of that which was proved demonstratively in the preceding chapters that we will see. It is well to understand that as a definition of description gives a formal or conceptual understanding of the things defined and described, so that the word existent here is like the genus, which embraces all existing things, and expression of a necessary existence through himself. It is the essential difference between it and other existing things. The other words, namely that he has no cause, that there's nothing similar to him, and so on, are we merely the explanation of quote-unquote necessary existence through himself? For the purpose of giving us a complete and formal conceptual understanding as can be had of God's existence. In reality, however, it is neither a definition nor description, God having no definition, for a definition is composed of the genus and difference, but the word existence is not a genus, which is predicated of all its subjects, synonymously as a genus is. For there is no genus in the world which includes God in another. The word existent is not applied synonymously to God and to other things. God's existence is real, absolute, whereas the existence of other things is acquired by his existence. But if existence is not genus, which includes God and other things, he has no difference. So the expression, there is no one similar to God, there is no equal to him, are words indicating the otherness merely. An example, that God is not the other existing things, for all of them acquire their existence from him and have no existence without him. But his existence does not depend upon their existence. From this principle follows the four secondary dogmas which we mentioned in the first book of Denial, which constitutes heresy. They are unity, incorporeality, independence of time, and freedom from defect. It is clear from the meaning of unity that it is the essential element in the principle of the existence of God, and follows from it, as we have demonstrated, for if he were not one but two or more, every one of them would necessarily have two elements, the element of necessary existence and the element which differentiated from the other. He would then be a composite. The composition would be the cause of his existence, and he would not be a necessary existence through himself. It's also clear that the incorporeality is an essential element of the principle of the existence of God, and follows from it the same way. All body is composed of matter and form, and in every composite of composition is the cause of its existence. We thus get back to the proof of unity. By the way, just to, in parentheses, say this whole idea of incorporeality is very present within what is Christian thought, and now of recent Hasidic thought, where you have the idea that Ein Sof is incarnated in a human form. It's the same idea in which we see in the previous ideologies of Christianity. But even if we say that the body, qua body, is not necessarily composed of matter and form, and that the body, qua body, has no composition at all, but is by definition the true view that the ancients, in fact, Ibn Rushd writes in the 11th book of Metaphysics that his opinion of Aristotle, that there is no necessary composition in all bodies, the heavenly bodies being one in every respect without any composition. The composition which we perceive in bodies, he says, comes merely from the specific form which is imposed upon the body, in which case we might say that God may be corporeal, though he is one. Nevertheless, he must be incorporeal, because if he were corporeal, he would necessarily have to be finite, and he would then be similar to other bodies, and his power would be finite. But there is nothing similar to God, and thus we said before, besides, one body cannot move another body without itself being in motion while moving the other. But if so, it needs another mover outside of it, which is not a body. The mover then, and not the body, is a necessary existence. It's also clear that the independence of time is an essential element of the principle of existence of God, and follows from it. For if we were subject to time, he would not be the cause of all existing things, for time would be prior to him. He would then have come into existence after a state of non-existence. It would require a cause to bring him into existence, and would not be the cause of all things. And if he existed always with time, he would not be necessary existence through himself, but through another. Example, time. Unless time is an immeasurable duration without which we cannot think at all. Similarly, if he is not everlasting, he has the possibility of not being. And that which has possibility of not being is not necessarily existence in general. If he is dependent upon time, and his existence is dependent upon the existence of time, he is not necessarily existence through himself. It is also easy to see that the freedom from defect is an essential element of the dogma of the existence of God. If he were defective, he would stand in need of another, and would not be a necessary existence through himself, but through another. And here is, you might say, the root problem with this whole idea of God becoming a man, or man is a God. And this, I believe Joseph Albo hits it right square in the heart of the matter between what he believed is Judaism and what other isms have attributed to other forms of Judaism, like the messianic movements of Judaism throughout its history, always attempting to make a man into more than just a mortal man, but making him into, God forbid, the creator of the universe. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero. I hope you enjoyed that. Our next video will cover chapter 7, in which Rabbi Albo begins to delve into the issue of these 4 secondary dogmas, which follows from the first principle of the existence of God and many of the branches thereof. So stay tuned, be with us, follow us here on the Ways of Israel. If you can't do that, you can go to our YouTube page in English, Ways of Israel, youtube.com/Ways of Israel, and be part of the learning cycle. We also have some other rabbis on there on our YouTube channel that teach every day different parts of halakhic law, and you'll enjoy Rabbi Zeno, for example, or some of the other rabbis that we have there that share the channel. So be part of what we're doing here on the Ways of Israel, and remember to support the Ways of Israel. And you can do that very easily by giving a donation of any size, or even applying to become a member of our organization by downloading membership in our file side on our Ways of Israel group page. So be part of what we're doing, help and learn and grow with the Ways of Israel. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero with the Ways of Israel. God bless you and yours on this week. Shalom, shalom.